Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, October 4th, 2021, Monday. Hope you are fine. Just to see, talk of quality, safety, health, environment, and all related issues under title Field Engineering, and I say Civil Field Engineering, Life, Engineers, Quality AnnexSL, Safety, Health, Environment, Designs, Construction Methods, Contracts, Organizations, Communication Coordination, and why quality issue every day. Every day, maybe you people bore, feel upset why I stick to this issue and disturb everybody. Yes, that's right. I disturb everybody because of this issue, because of various reasons. We have all these competencies. This is competency of International Professional Engineer Certificate. You can say this is my certificate of 2020 to 2025. Before that was up to 20, that's 15 to 20, and before it was 12 to 15, and before that professional engineer certificate. I have been certified as professional engineer since 1995. Before that, of course, this certificate that you can see, Chartered Engineer India, Chartered Engineer, I have been since 1981, first level Chartered Engineer, 1986, second level Chartered Engineer, and then this is third level Chartered Engineer. This is based on fellow membership. Fellow membership, this is based on, and that's, you can say, there are three levels in this, and that's one. I just want to inform that these are competency certificate, not just degree certificate. These are not academic certificate, but academics is merged within these certificates. If somebody says I'm chartered engineer, this means that person definitely is educated, BE or ME or something else, PhD maybe. And this certificate, that says International Professional Engineer Certificate. This means person has been examined based on experience earned in field post qualifying engineering examinations, degree examinations. That person has some practical experience. In reality, that experience basis on academical knowledge, theoretical knowledge, application of that knowledge, analytical knowledge, practical knowledge, experience-based knowledge, learning, lessons learned. You can say this training continues. What is theory, how to apply, what is best way to apply, what is material, what is economy on works, what is society, what is quality, what you can say, what are codes, what are manufacturing processes, how to use natural materials, whatever is involved in process, in field of engineering, that we should know every aspect, safety aspect, quality aspect, economy aspect, you can say, human resources aspect, public aspect, surety aspect, trust aspect. It's a service to society. And this is not simply in our country, this applies to whole world. This certificate says, suppose I go to some other country where they are also member of this body, and that body is International Professional Engineers Agreement. All countries aren't available till now, but if you go to that country and they just interview me based on this certificate and some agreement between two countries, and I qualify that interview, I can practice there legally if I get a license. It's a kind of license, it's a kind of legal permission, though in our country it is voluntary. It's kind means if I like, I can take this certificate. There is no, you can say statutory mandate on this, that it's a mandate, you have to be this. No, there is no such mandate. In our country, because we are different level country, we don't bother about values of person, we don't bother about competencies. There is no one competent from any field in this country. That's why we don't bother about these things. But if you go to USA, if you go to Canada, if you go to Japan, if you go to China, if you go to South Korea, likewise you will find that South Africa even, there are some rules, some regulations on professions, and they say professionals should be responsible. Professionals should be responsible, which is very much requirement. If you are not responsible, I don't understand where public should complain for that. Means that's of course different aspect, but it relates to quality. If engineer is not legally bound for something, then you can think, well, what about people? What about public? There should be some level of responsibility and liability. So that's what I try to talk on quality system, because of this reason, that this quality comes into picture, and I put up these certificates for time being, because that quality and quality system we talk of, that quality system as we talk of is very much important in our life. We can't do without that. We should not do, we cannot do. That point we should realize in fact where we are leading to without this. And that's why I keep always this title, field engineering. Field engineering is really very, very important, and I can see that there are certain codes of ethics. I'll show you this, but let me read for you, because that paper is not very, very clear. That paper which I actually want to share that with you, so that people know what is back, what we think about, what we think about. This is codes of ethics for professional engineers. I think this is not very clear here. If I see, let me see that paper here. Let me see if I can code of ethics 1. Let's say code of ethics 1. It's not very clear anyway. I know you can see this paper also, but this is not very clear here. This is not very clear, so I cannot read that actually. I should put off. It's not very clear, so better to keep off. Okay, let us do this way. Now, my approach is towards quality system. I'll go to that, see whether light is available, and I read from there possibly. Let me see that how to do this. Anyway, quality system. Let me give some time. I'll arrange that one. Now I'm going to talk about quality system. In this case, IS 9001:2015, and we talked it, up to certain level, and that level was that this ISO 9000:2015, and we talked on this quality system, and we had reached to some levels of the context of organization that we reached. What is context of organization? That scope we reached. So I think we were somewhere here in it is organization also needs alternative build. Okay, organization also needs safety plan. This we are here. Now you see that when we bid as a contract, I'm talking on behalf of contractor. Let's say this is contractors AnnexSL, means construction contractor. Construction contractor means where design it doesn't come in ambit in scope of contract. This only comes is construction. It is that one. This means design is given by employer or through engineer, and that design is to be implemented on this contract. Means contractor charges only for construction, not for design or for liability of design. That liability remains with engineers and owner. That is this contract I'm talking of, and this is ISO. This is called construction contract, or you can say FIDIC. That's an institution, international institution, which obligation is international. International obligation is devise certain contract forms, contract conditions that are applicable, that may be applicable, not mandatory, but suggestive or indicatively means you can use those conditions, and that's called FIDIC institution. And this is red book from FIDIC, based on which I'm sharing my knowledge, whatever small knowledge. This institution cannot bind people to do it or not to do it, but engineers and other professionals who are involved in construction or in designs and construction or whatever nature, civil, mechanical, electrical, whatever it is, can get benefit of. It's not, you may not say that this is a kind of hallmark suggestive work. Hallmark, we can get, you can say, reliable information, reliable use of that information. I have seen many contracts in my life since FIDIC was not in operation, and those contracts, of course, used to come from, you can say, advertisement or publicity, or you can say source information, say from institution of engineers, civil engineers, UK or some other source, and we used to work on them. I still remember when I was in Qatar, we used to work on that contract general conditions, which is a very long document, and it's also a very long document, that is FIDIC. So here situation is same, contents are same. A structure has been devised, a structure of contracts. Contract structure has been devised, and that is really very important. You can say without which we can not move further. It's that important. It's important in a sense that every issue related to construction, every issue related to, you can say, design and construction, there's another book, there's another form, another condition, another format which is called EPC based, and that is silver book. Then there are more such books. So it is red book, then silver book, and white book, and likewise orange. Different kind of activities, different kind of projects, different kind of contracts, and this is what here is. To just let you understand and me explain properly, I'm starting with lowest one, and that is a red book, which means that construction, only construction. Construction, till now we discussed on this. There are this is an AnnexSL. Means this is a kind of structure that you have to define yourself, your organization, your working, your system as a contracting body all over world. You have to define in a kind of necklace. Means this is my system. Certain clauses have been organized in this, and these clauses should be conducted for purpose of defining or announcing yourself, where do you stand. That is attractive point in this. Where do you stand? Do you stand factually right, or you have got certain deficiency which you must correct? That is what is here, and that is important. Till now I explained you about scope of organization. You can say there are so many clauses in that scope, and you can say normative references. Likewise, you can say there are so many clauses. I discussed with you. I discussed with you those, and 1 minute please. Code of ethics. Now I am discussing here we are discussing organization. This one is context of organization, and other one is terms and definitions. Terms and before terms and definitions, and now this is context of organization. In this we have discussed what we are as contracting company, what we are, and what we can do, and what is our structure. So when we work on contract, we have to offer, we have to work on bid or tender, and that is very much required. And if we don't do on tender, we cannot get any job, and for that we should be qualified enough. Qualification is also very important there. It's not simply that we can do whatever we want. Just a minute please, let me see if I can get some relocation on this. I can relocate to little light. I can say yes, then I will do it here. I think I got some light now. Okay. So let me now speak before going further about our responsibility as engineers. And there's a document here which is called Code of Ethics. Hold on for 5 minutes, I'll read it. Code of Ethics it says engineering is a profession. I'm referring to Code of Ethics, and that is issued by Institution of Engineers for Professional Engineers, and it is Code of Ethics. I'll just show you where it is, but it's not very clear, and that is a problem. Code of Ethics. Don't be, just a minute please. The Code of Ethics. This is that document. I'm just reading this for you. You may not read it, but I'm just reading so that it's clear to you. Engineering, it defines engineering is a profession. Engineering is a profession. It defines that engineering is a profession that puts scientific knowledge to practical use. Professional engineers in pursuit of knowledge, in pursuit of their profession, affect quality of life of all people in society, and quality of all sectors of economy. Therefore, ethics are fundamental to values of profession. This is requirement definition. What we are, why we are, what we should do. That is requirement of definition. Therefore, ethics are fundamental to values of profession. Accordingly, services provided by professional and consulting professional engineers should adhere to Code of Ethics while dealing with public, clients, employers, employees, and associates. IEI, which we call Institution of Engineers India, Code of Ethics aims at maintaining high standards of personal and professional conduct, developing professional competency and integrity, ensuring ethical conduct in fulfilling social responsibility to society, nation, and global community. It is mandatory that all professional engineers conduct their professional practices and their individual behavior in an ethical manner as stated below. What is that? What is that actually? Now, there are certain articles in this. I think 3 articles are here, of course, with many explanations. Let us say social responsibilities, article 1, that is social responsibility to uphold ethical values of society. Article 2 is responsibility to maintain high standards of professional quality. Number 3 is article 3, that is obligation to maintain high standards of personal behavior in a responsible manner. So I am going through article 1, that is further says 1.1 public safety, 1.2 compliance with social order, 1.3 is impartiality and fairness, 1.4 is environment protection and sustainable development. Article 2 is 2.1, that is development of technical and managerial skills. 2.2 is undertake assignment where professionally competent. 2.3 is performance responsibility, and 2.4 is proper verification of documents and production process. 3.1 is honesty and integrity in professional dealing. 3.2 is compensation of services rendered. 3.3 is professional opinion. 3.4 is professional relationship with employer. 3.5 is information communication with employer. Then 3.6 is mutual obligations and trust. 3.7 is self promotion. 3.8 is employers business secrets. 3.9 is personal conflict. Now, article says public safety. Engineers shall ensure safety, health and welfare of public in performance of their professional duties. Safety of people must always come first. Safety first. They should promptly disclose to all concerned factors that might endanger public safety or environment. Engineers shall abide by laws of land in which work is performed. Respect local customs, uphold human rights, safeguard public property, abjure violence and acts of terrorism. Impartiality says impartiality and fairness. Engineers shall treat fairly all persons regardless of such factors as race, caste, religion, state, gender or national origin. In environment protection and sustainable development, engineers shall strive to protect and maintain clean, healthy and safe environments, sustainable development, and comply with statutory requirements. Then development of technical and managerial skills. It is engineers shall maintain state-of-art professional skills, continue professional development and provide opportunity for professional development of those working under their command. Undertake assignments where professionally competent. Engineers shall perform service only in area of their technical competence. Performance responsibility. Engineers shall seek work through fair and proper methods and shall take full responsibility for tasks undertaken by them. Proper verifications of documents and production processes. Engineers shall approve only those designs which safely and economically meet requirements of client and not approve any engineering document design materials, stages of work which they consider to be unsound. Obligations and high standards of personal conduct. Honesty and integrity in professional dealing. Engineers shall maintain high degree of honesty and personal integrity in all their professional dealings. They shall conduct themselves in a fair, honest and respectable manner. Compensation of services rendered. Engineers shall not engage in unhealthy competition. Professional opinion. Engineers shall seek and offer honest criticism of technical work, acknowledge errors and give proper credit for contributions of others. Where necessary, engineers shall issue public statements in an objective and truthful manner. Engineers shall act faithfully as trustee of employer, client on professional matters. Engineers shall keep their employer and client fully informed on all matters relating to progress of business, including financial aspects, which may affect assigned work. Engineers shall not maliciously or falsely injure professional reputation of another engineer in organization. Engineers shall build their reputation based on merits of services to customers and shall not falsify or misrepresent their contribution. Engineers shall not disclose by any means confidential information of employer or client unless otherwise authorized. Engineers shall disclose real or perceived conflicts of interest to affected parties and avoid these where possible. It's written at end, all professional engineers must abide by this code of conduct or code of ethics. Board for certification shall have right to cancel or suspend certifications of a professional engineer violating code of ethics. And then it ends. So my purpose of this certificate, why you may ask why I did that, why I read this. Purpose was to announce to you what is code of ethics, what is responsibility owned by engineers. Maybe they are not registered, but they are engineers. they have responsibility, they have quality of life in profession, and purpose was to let people know what is responsibility and what should be done. That was point here. Now, as I said, I am sharing with you quality issue. This is also quality issue. How engineers should work. What is role? What is responsibility? What is liability? What is everything? These codes direct to some extent what engineers should do. And it is very common that we should be honest, we should be sincere, we should be quality people, we should have procedures. All this we must have. There is no one to say, and there's no one can say that we should not have. We must have. And that's the reason that AnnexSL was not because if we follow AnnexSL we can get everything done. No, we can't say that. AnnexSL is just a method, is just a format. And we means if it is structured one, if a long duration has been there, a long contribution has been there by many engineers involved in this from throughout the world, and this format has been designed, so I think there's nothing wrong. It's just like a system, means a structure, how should it work. So I was talking about Red Book, and that was contracting. It is saying, when suppose I'm a contractor, I'm an expert on contracting or expert on works in field, and it's my shortlisting that they can invite me or my company or whatever it is, and then I have to prove, I have to submit my credentials, we call it. Everybody knows what is credential. What is my competency, what work I have done, how much do I know, what is strength, my technical strength, what's my commercial strength, what's my financial strength. Everything we have to tell our client, or you can say those unknown clients who are behind that scene, because some product is going to be built, maybe some facility is going to be built, maybe some building is going to be built, maybe some road is going to be built, some work is going to be built, which shall be used by people of that area. It may be refinery, it may be plants, it may be structures of buildings, or maybe somebody will use it. So for that owner is working. Owner is not working for itself. Means even if owner says I am owner, I am responsible, but that owner has to serve some other people of that area or country. So when I say I submit my details, I submit my proposal for work, that proposal must be fit, it must be in compliance with requirement of contract. And who prepares contract? Question is that who is responsible for how that contract came into being. This is only a medium which I am telling AnnexSL, but the basics is what we have to do. We have an objective in mind. We have an objective in mind when we design some project, that we have to do this project. We have to give shape to this project, and that design is very, very important from each and every point of view that we have to understand. We have to prove we are capable of this, and that is very much requirement. It's easy to say, but because this is we deal with projects, we don't deal with it's some kind of a game of toys, and it's billions, sometimes millions, and sometimes very small projects also we deal with. It depends on what capacity we have. Now capacity is that we are a construction contract. Let's say our job is to deliver project really constructed based on some scope of work, and also based on some designs. Now we have to fulfill all those requirements which are given to us in terms of proposal details, tender details we can call them, bid details we can call them, or designs we can call them. We are given documents, and we have to analyze those documents, and in every company there is some system, and if those do no system, they can't give correct. Means we have engineers in our companies, contracting companies, we have experts on quantities, experts on contracts, experts on construction, experts on planning, experts on safety. All requirements have expertise in those areas, and those expertise are really very much required, without which we cannot move at all. That point is very significant, and when we say we got it, our charter is really charter of product. I'm using this term charter, though companies may not be using this. This means only that we have to keep a record that why did we agree this proposal to submit. It's a question to ourselves, means why did we accept this, why did we go for this bid, and there may be some investigation at a later stage when maybe we fail or when maybe we get success. And somebody may ask it, those in future, why did we go for this project? And that answer shall not be provided by anyone but by charter details. And charter means a kind of detailed compilation which says we authorize this is a kind of authorization from company's organization authorities that okay, we agree to propose to offer this bid, and that details are entered in that who shall do what. This is in our scope, we can do it. That is first consideration. Are we capable to do this? That is another consideration. Do we have such other jobs, or we don't have many jobs, or we have many jobs? It depends upon that. If somebody has many jobs at currency level, that means current level, why shall they want to take risk? Because it's question not only of job hunting but also of doing. Means job taking is very easy. Job taking is very easy, but job doing is very difficult if you don't have balance of resources. If your resources are busy, you have many projects, you may not concentrate on that project. So in that case, I think it's not good if you go for a job for where you don't have time, you don't have resources, you don't have banks for that to come, the finance, or even if you're finance, are you able to do that? Are you able to control? Or you have to expand yourself. You have to expand your organization for that. These considerations are very important, and those are, you can say, those are designed by charter. Those are intimated indirectly by charter that you can do this or you cannot do this. This point we have to understand very clearly. Why should we unnecessarily take risk? That point is very important. In fact, we have to understand that point clearly. Why should go for something we are able to do? And if you think, no, we need this job, then we have to be very serious on that, because its job means we must have a survival of those people who are employed by us. We have resources. We can't keep these machines idle. Because we spend money on that, and something should come back, something return. And we want to keep busy also, that we are in profession of construction, as company, as organization, and we must have certain jobs for our credentials in future. Sometimes we get jobs for profit, sometimes we get jobs for continuation of structure, because there are two phases in life. One is very active phase, and sometimes phase is very silent, very passive, but phase is phase. We should not forget that whatever jobs we have to complete them also. We cannot keep without completion, because it's a question of commercial absence, commercial action. If you don't complete them, we have to pay damages. That's commercial adverse action, we can say. So bidding is very much complicated commercially, management wise, and of course it is complicated technically. Therefore, first we have to decide whether or not we have to decide based on analysis, not just because I'm owner of this company and if I am interested, I will do it. It's not personal interest, because no owner can expand company organization without any solid requirement. We can expand something, we think in future we'll get a chain of projects we get, and we can use our structure. We cannot be a good company. We say, okay, for this project we recruit people, we expand ourselves, and just for 1 year or 2 years then we wind up. That is not professionalism. You should have your capacity, whatever it is, and that capacity should be optimally utilized. You cannot at random, you can say, increase your capacity and then you say, okay, we now expand, we mobilize further and demobilize later on. No, it impacts lives of workers also, it impacts lives of staff, engineers, everyone. So this decision is very important. We have to keep in mind that in coming 6 months or coming 1 year, how much strength we have now and what should be strength at that time. Can we divert that strength? That's first consideration. We cannot buy machine for every project. Machines are very expensive. We cannot hire every day, because hiring is also, one cannot hire for just 1 day and say go back from project, or that machine is idle and you have to pay for that. That's also not virtual situation. That's not the real situation. That's not liked by anybody. So what we have to see in this, when we submit bid and when we decide bid to be submitted, both are different stages. Okay, we have decided not to submit it, fine, that's very good. We close that, we just make charter and close it and say we return documents either, or if document returning is not good for us, we just bid for that at higher price. It happened that when I did bids, I supported actually bids. I was not directly responsible. I used to support our company in that. So my management used to say me, okay, we are not interested in this bid. Do one thing, work out this bid and do everything is required for this. We can afford that because we are in market and we are on shortlisted companies. So we will just put additional price of profit so that we are not lowest. We are not lowest of the price, not lowest, and they will not call us for this. And if they call us for this, then we will get more profit. That's it. So that is another way of sorting out that problem. But seriousness comes when you are interested in that work. That is a mode which you have to be sure about. We have say no, we are going to do this because we don't do job after 6 months or so many months we will be free from so many jobs and we want to keep continuation. So we take this job, maybe after 6 months or 3 months or 4 months, this bid would be awarded as contract. In that case, we have to be very serious. We have to do all, as I said, we have to read bid, we have to analyze bid. Somebody should be there, experienced person who understands contracts, who understands designs, who understands documents, who understands everything. That person should analyze that bid. And that analysis is not, you can say, should not take much time. We have a reservation on that because we have to decide about bid and there is a short time, maybe sometimes in months, 1 month or 1.5 months or sometimes in 3 or 4 weeks, you have to submit that bid though the extensions are short. So you can say you have to decide. Working of bid shall also require a lot of time because you have to invite quotations for materials for our subcontractors and they shall also take time for working their part of scope of work. And we have also our part, we have to work out on quantities which take time, so we have to work out on methods, we have to work out everything. So means say it's not more than 1 day or 2 days or 3 days maximum given to a person who analyzes bid, and that person should be very fast, very efficient to inform, to submit its information to organizers that this is what bid is. Means major part should be covered in that data of contract. Is the contract data, what may be bonds, what's time duration, what's major component of bid that we have to do ourselves, and what are the materials which subcontractors would do. And that way possibly we can say we have 40% job for us or we have 60% job for us, depending on that. If it's civil works, we are civil contractor. If civil work, generally civil works about 40-50%, 60%. Others are services which are for, if we have services organizations with us also in house, it's fine, then it's our work. Otherwise these factors work. Then we can say, okay, plenty of concrete is there, plenty of block work is there, plenty of roads or internal services are there, or we can consume it and we can do it with support of our subcontractors. In that case, we can say, okay, we can go ahead with that. And this is quite good amount we can assess, means how much it will cost. And we can say, okay, we opt for this. When we send letter to that organization, to that owner that we are interested in this and we'll submit this one. Or we can work on more analysis and find more clarification questions. This happens that. Then whenever coordinator is appointed, you can say person, there's an appointment of a manager or a person of leader status who would take care of that job. And also a person, if it's a big one, a coordinator type person who has to study bids and thoroughly, you have to raise all questions from bids. And so there are some input from experts also, like electrical engineers or mechanical engineers, or you can say quantity engineers and other engineers who may raise certain questions based on their subtitles, their own sub areas, disciplines from that bid. And these questions are framed. If there are clashes or there are some other problems, some details are not available, because this is lump sum bid, fixed price bid. Once you offer price, you cannot change anything. That is another problem. Whatever is given in drawings, whatever given in contract conditions, whatever given in details, whatever given in specifications, whatever given in contract data, all these would bind us as contractor. We cannot come out of that clubbing of controls. These controls will work on us and we have to respond to them. So at that stage, every question must be clearly answered if it is clearly raised. It may be a technical question, it may be non-technical question. Every question related to bid must be raised prior to bid is submitted, and all competitors do it. It's very important. At this time, we can raise any question. There can be site visits conducted by owner. Through engineer, we can go to site visits. Depending on what is available information on contract, and we can see there is it right, or we can raise questions. There may be more technical questions. If not included in bid, then we can raise ourselves, because ultimately once we agree on that, we have to do this. We should keep in mind this very important point. I used to enjoy this, oh contractor, you are no problem, you enjoy life. That's not a point here. Point is, we are in contract with someone. We have agreement that we would do this job at this price. This means we have to do that job. We cannot come out by binding. We cannot say, no, we shall not do it, it's not our part. It is a bid, it's a contract. We agree it's our part and we do it. Whatever is given on drawings, whatever given on specifications, whatever are, you can say, included in this contract, every part is binding on us. That binding cannot be resolved without doing work. We cannot think, okay, this part we do, we cannot do this part. We cannot say on bids, on contracts, which are binding on both employer as well as contractor. Both are in binding. Both have their own responsibilities, their obligations, and we cannot say it's not my job. This means if I say that it's not my job, this means I contravene provisions of that bid, and action can be taken against me as a contractor, and I can take action against owner because I am party to contract. Party 1 is owner, party 2 is contractor. And known parties are there like engineers, like third parties. That's why we call them third parties. So party 1, party 2. Engineer is never a party on construction or EPC contract. Engineer is independent party, though it's paid by employer as well, like we are paid by employer. Even engineer is in employment of owner. Even then, engineer is independent as far as engineering part is concerned, supervision part is concerned, design part is concerned. There is no relation between engineer and employer on construction contract bids, but it has relation on management bid, which is a separate service contract that exists between employer and engineer. And also third party we call it, which has no direct relation to contract, but it is bound to make sure that contract is affected properly. It is affected in interest of both, in inter-interest of both contractor and employer. No one should take undue benefit of each other of its power. Employer cannot use its power unduly. Likewise, contractor cannot use its authorities unduly. Both have defined charters. Contract is nothing but charter, mutual charter, definition of charter, elaborations of charter. You may ask, what is charter here? Charter means written grants of rights. Charter means that originally, if you say by foundation stone, by roots, charter means written grants of rights by whosoever. Generally, charter is considered as written grants of right by state or by rulers or by laws. That charter means a kind of constituted arrangement. Just like we say Constitution of India or Constitution of some other country, wherever you can say legal meaning of Constitution is charter. Who is what right one has, distribution of rights from total rights to whatever people, whatever you can say authorities involved. For example, I say Constitution of India. I'm just giving reference only. It has nothing to do with this talk. Constitution of India means Charter of India. Whoever resides in India, whoever is a member of India body, India as a body I am saying, that member is authorized for something. For example, President is chartered one through constitution. Same way, many other authorities are there who call themselves constitutional authorities. They are all chartered institutions or chartered persons, chartered authorities. Citizen is also authority there. Citizen is an author of constitution. Citizen is, you can say, empowered one to rule this country. In fact, it is citizen of every country who rules that country through rulers, through government. So government serves its citizen, therefore government is servant to citizen. That way we can say here this is charter by employer and charter by contractor. Both parties chart each other. This is your responsibility and this is my responsibility. This is your power and this is my power. This is your requirement and this is my requirement. This is your role and this is my role. Likewise, you can say these conditions define that. These can be general conditions. These can be particular conditions. This can be technical conditions like specifications. This can be technical documents, engineering documents like designs and detailing. This can be, you can say, other documents whatsoever. Our objective is same: project completion, project construction, project delivery, according to these rights, these chartered privileges. So this is in fact very, in short we can define that both parties on contract are responsible for their own scope, for their own role, for their own respective obligations. They cannot come out of that without responsibility, without accountability. So we have to take that point into consideration, that neither employer is subservient to contractor nor contractor is subservient to employer. Both are on same track. Both are responsible for their own activities. We should not consider this contractor is lower or employer is higher, because both contracting is a professional world. It's not a shop. In fact, it's not a shop. We call just to explain, but it's a technical, it's a commercial, it's, you can say, public responsibility as a contractor, because contractor, actually both are contractor. In fact, again I say, if you consider legally, both are contracting parties. Party 1, Party 2, we name them for differentiation only. Employer is on contract and contractor is on contract. Likewise in service contract, employer is on contract and engineer is on contract. Likewise everywhere. You can say vendor who sells you something, it's a contractor. As well as you are a contractor, because you are also on contract to buy that. But the role is different. So party 1, party 2, we say you are part 1 because you are giving me something in terms of, you can say, money, in terms of expenditure. So you pay me money, I do your job. This is contract. You pay me money, I give, just like you say customer satisfaction, we say in management, or we can say in organization. What we call these days is customer satisfaction. Can we get that? Who is customer? Here customer is party 1. Customer pays, and vendor or shopkeeper or manufacturer is party 2 in that contract. When you travel, you take ticket of flight. You are party 1 in fact, because you are a customer. Your honor. Your honor of that. What is that? What is that? Your honor of that. So you are party 1 and you are party 1, you are servant, your service provider is party 2. That is what is applicable here. You have to understand this role, this point you have to understand. What fell? I don't know what fell. Something dropped from the door. This is dropped here. I see. This is dropped. If we can understand this role, we can find many answers, and we have to be really peculiar about this. That role is well defined. That's the reason I'm trying to explain to you clearly what is in my mind, what do I understand by this. That understanding is utmost important. Otherwise, If it's not clear, I was not clear in my career about so many things. I try to learn that. I try to learn to that level that I am able to express what I learned. This means it's not simply text I learned. You have to learn essence of that by practice, not by books. You know what happens? Let me explain to you something. You see, these law people, legal luminaries like advocates, like judges, they learn from books. They learn from books a lot. They learn contracts, they learn statutes, they learn so much, and this is their professional requirement. But how do they lag behind? There is one requirement, one problem. They are not exposed. They have no exposure to reality. During their proceedings only they learn something from others. They get information from advocates, they get information from petitions or from cases, and it takes a lot of time for that study. Maybe they do not know what is reality, what is given to them, they see that. But in our field, we see realities ourselves. Example is, say, contract moves for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, every contract, even for 5 years sometimes. You can see this Doha airport, which took many years for designs, many years for work. So you can say a person who works there or a person who works on such project, and particularly on documents, that person sees everything through eyes, through mind, and learns processes which are very important one. And that learning is really very, very effective. In fact, we should try that fact. This is very effective work. They learn a lot. It's not question of employment. It's question of clearly understanding plus and minus of every activity. And they do it. It works very well. And that is what I say. Everybody should have that. Let me relook at that. It's very sometimes difficult to handle things, it happens. I'm just trying to tell my experience to you people. How could I know? And I always go in depth. I never take care superficially. That is not my nature. I always go through requirements. I always go through, you can say, facts of life, which are very important here, very important, significant, and we have to deal with it. As I said in that code, what is that code? That is just that code is just a simplification. That code is just, you can say, what we define is that code is that, as I said, as I spoke to you about that, that is just a simplification. Now here what we are saying is, in this, according to bid bond requirement, now bonds are there. What we mean by that? Bonds are there. We can see that. It says according to bid bond requirements, Demanded tender bond is also provided, which means enforce until performance bond is provided or bidder loses bid job. For all significant bids involving considerable quantities of material to be used on permanent basis, more than three quotations are invited from. This is a procedure only, but it's talking of when all quotations from vendors are recorded for future references with respective validities, extended in the case bid award is delayed by honor. So far we are limited to doing all civil works by our workforce, whereas other items are subcontracted to professional vendors, officially with formal approval from owners and engineers. Organization is very keen to further organize its potential to make its professional for various other items for which our team has been working so that as many items could carry ours by ourselves. All our related personnel and managers well know areas where we are main contractor. We as main contractor are concerned, organization got many sister concerns working on many items which we make use of their standards and potential as a part parcel on all such bids. What does it mean? It means we describe ourselves, but our working is more important than the description. What do you work actually? How we conduct, that's more important. And that point lies here, means what we do. Now it's very easy to read, it's very easy to answer, but in practice it's very time consuming, it's very complicated. What we read, it doesn't matter, it is hard and fast rule. We can change depending on time. We can change depending on so many requirements. First of all, what we say when we are going to do some job, first of all we should be clear about that job. That is very first requirement. If I am not clear of something, it's my foolishness if I say I can do that. I should not say I can do that until I am sure that I can do that. That is my first consideration. I can do that. If I think I have doubt, I keep silent better and think of how to do that. Never jump and say I will do that. It's not business alone that is required. Again I say, it's not something you have to buy and sell. It's not that. Okay, I will buy, and it's trading, you can say. This is not trading. This is not trading. Remember, construction is not trading. It is responsibility. In trading, you are just nothing. You have to buy, you have to take some material from someone, and you have to give it to someone else. In between, you are there to take money and to keep your profit with you, and send back that money to someone else from whom you bought that or you got that material. Trading is different. Here is, in fact, this is manufacturing, this is construction. We manufacture products in factories, in industries, and then we can say yes, this is what is required. So my question is application of quality here. That is much more important than something else. I just come back to same page again, because ultimately it is quality of work, it is quality of system, it is quality of contract, it is quality of activities, it is quality of individuals, it is quality of equipment, it is quality of whatever is involved on that contract. That quality is first requirement. If we cannot do that, there is no meaning of every issue. We have to we can say we have to use total competency, total knowledge that one has. We have. I should use my knowledge to best of inclusions to understand that contract or to devise a contract. There are two things. I am an engineer or an engineer associate, then I have to involve myself to design that contract. If I am a contractor's representative, I have to think of to answer on that contract to best of my knowledge. We have to think same way reciprocally. When I work as an engineer, I have one role to do best for contracts so that employer benefits doesn't lose. And I have also to think at same time that contractor also does not lose anything unduly or does not get undue advantage. As an engineer, it's my job to think of both employer and contractor. It doesn't mean who is paying me, it doesn't mean anything, because as I said, I have to be true to employer, and though I do not know who shall be my contractor, but I have to be true to that absent person who shall involve itself. For me, both are good people, because they contractor shall work for me or for employer. It's very big responsibility. Doing work qualitatively, quantitatively, time wise, and delivering that's a professional requirement, that's a professional work. I consider contractor as a professional contractor, professional expert who delivers me something which I cannot do myself practically, which employer cannot do itself practically. That point we have to keep in mind. Why shall employer give contract to someone? Because employer is not well organized for that. And why shall I do that? Because I am also not having that competency, that strength, that you can say structure which can deliver such requirement, which can deliver such scope. So there is role for everyone. Contractor has a role, employer has a role, engineer has a role, third party has a role, and you can say all stakeholders have a role, public has a role, though those are not able to impact directly, but indirectly they impact. That's why policies are framed, designed for companies, for nations. Policy means a kind of objective, a kind of roadmap to move. Here, what we say, we have to take care of qualities everywhere. If quality in contract is not considered, if quality in employer level is not considered, if quality in designs is not considered, and quality as individual professional is considered, as I said in Code of Ethics, we explained, that is very minimum, but that is directive. That is directive based on experience, is forming or constituting standards of professionals. Engineers are backbone of society. We should not forget that. Because if engineers don't work, nothing can move. If doctors don't work, health will deteriorate, ruin. We have to get this point into our minds that we deal with people, we deal with professions. Profession doesn't mean it's only by name, it's only by title. Means we have to deliver quality product. Whatever product we have to deliver from manufacturing unit or from industrial unit or from construction sites or from designs, all should conform to standards, conforms to quality, supported by safety and use of product. Easy to say every time, as I am saying now, but it's not a joke. It's no joke. It's hard work. It's time consuming. It's not simply certification or role. So when I say contracting and constructions are there, we are part and parcel of that. Okay, I am employee, I am engineer, I am employee, I am paid, but that is not my final destination. If I am paid, that's my remuneration. But important item is my role, how I dispose my role as a professional. How does employer dispose its role as party 1? How does contractor dispose its role as party 2? And how other people who are non-direct contractable, third party, they behave, they conduct. How does reporters from other parts, you can say news part, they conduct their responsibilities towards society. How does society take this work? They simply say, oh, there's understanding, oh, contractor, oh, this is a contractor, different type of person. They may have a kind of concept, but I don't say that. First of all, for me, everybody cannot be a contractor. Until you are educated for that, you are qualified for that. You may say, what is education for contractor? You are going to use that person or company for some important item, for some product, for some construction, and you think there is no education for that? How it is possible? A person who is going to deliver you to millions and millions or crores of works to you, you think that is easy person? That's even not a shopkeeper, you think so? We have some misconception in ourselves. First, we have to eliminate those misconceptions. When we say this is an engineer, this is an architect, this is a doctor, this is a chartered accountant, this is advocate, we simply say, okay, that's a qualification, that is an education system, academics. So we straight away agree with that one. But when we say this is a contractor, why don't you agree with that one? No, that is really very, very significant one we have to answer. We cannot condemn it. When we say contractor, this means a responsibility. It's a responsibility. And responsibility is automatically linked to expertise. We allow that person. Employer allows that person on behalf of users and users do this job. This means that person should know that job. Only then we can say. Even if it's a plumber, electrician, welder, we give this job at homes. We cannot give them without, okay, that person knows that activity. Only then you cannot give work of electrician to anyone. You say, oh, this person electrically qualified. Maybe he's from ITI or by training or by some other way. That person know, or through other means that this electrician is good, I use this. Because there's a question of work and there's a question of life and death. Means same way, there is some indirect education by experience, or you can say liabilities, and every company, every organization can employ professionals. Ultimately, work is done by professionals and not by those who are not professionals. So we cannot say contracting is a framework. Contracting is a framework. That is reason only that AnnexSL is a framework. Just to tell us, just to let us know what is contracting, how it should be organized. It doesn't matter whether it is on large scale or is on small scale, contracting is contracting. Even if you construct a room, simple room, we require technical input of architectural work, structural work and services work. Then we do that. We cannot blindly, okay, you may do, I know it, I can do it. There are people who say, oh, no, I know everything, I'll do it. That person knows something which he did, that's it. Not more than that. That person can copy its past experience. I did this room there, I do the same here. That is not engineering, that is not contracting. Justification is always important. Why I do this, that is also important. Why I take this design, that is also important. Every activity is important. If we miss one or two, we make mistake in all. It's same thing, if my body is fit for everything, but say my leg is not strong, and I say, no, I am 100% fit. I cannot say that. Yes, there is a deficiency in me. There is some deficiency in this part of body. So I cannot say I am 100% fit. Yes, I am fit for work, I do work, but there is some problem with my body and I should tell that that's my problem. Same way, we have to question everyone. When I work for contractor, it doesn't mean I'm a small. And when somebody works for a designer, it doesn't mean that is big. Or somebody works for an employer, it doesn't mean that is big. It is share of responsibility. We are professionals. Many of you are professionals. We have gone through certain academics, certain education level. We have then earned experience. Then combination of education system based knowledge and knowledge based on works. Both work together. Both lead you to better place of understanding, better place of knowledge. It takes lifelong experience, and even then one is not perfect, because changes and changes and changes, and as much as you do, you feel I know very little. And when you come out of college, out of university, you think I know everything. When you come out of university, we think we know everything. This happens. But that's not correct. Because at that time we do not know world. We do not know what is world, what is requirement. We see more and more and we understand, oh, I did not learn anything. And that is true. In 4 or 5 years in university, you cannot learn everything. It's not possible. Because university means it's not 24 hours a day. It's a couple of hours. Every day you study 8 hours, 10 hours. And that time you are not practical person. You are a student only. So it takes time. When a stage comes in life that you can feel, yes, I have learnt it enough that I can do myself. Actually, that is time when you can move yourself on your own responsibility. Okay, I am moving myself now. I am quite responsible. I can take responsibility. So it happens with every profession. It happens with contractor as well. Why I am using this term contractor? Because this is very important term. It's not because I have been with contractor companies, that's why I am supporting it. It's not that. You see, writing something is very important. You can write something, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. But doing that is very important. Doing that is very important because you are going to do something which maybe you know it well or maybe you do not well. But that author who writes this, that specifier, that condition writer, that designer, I call it designer, that designer realizes that you can do it. And if you have to decide. Means it doesn't matter if you are given a job by mistake and you are not capable for that. You can claim, why did you give me this job? No, I don't accept this explanation. I don't accept this argument. If I accept some job, see, try to understand employer and employee, or employer and contractor. Why we say employer and contractor? Because contractor is also a group of employee. Contractor is a group employee, actually, to be very frank. It's not simple individual employee, but contract company, it's employee to employer. That's why it's called employer, and that's why contractor. Now, if that contractor, if that group, if that person is not clear about work, then that person should not commit anything. No, should not commit. If I do not know some work and somebody asks me to do it, and that person trusts me that yes, this person knows it, maybe from my CV or from my something, some other document, that person realizes yes, this person is competent. But if I accept yes, I can do it, I have to do it. Keep in mind, do not blame that why did you give me this job when you knew I did not do it. Yes, that person tried only on you, that person relied on you that you would be able to do it, but response should be from you, final response. If you said yes, I would do it, I accept it, in that case you are bound. Or you say no, it's not, it's beyond my scope, beyond my competency, that is different level. Your competency is not to this level, so you can't do it. Simple. My competency does not permit me to do this job. Or I have to learn more, or give me some time, I'll come back. That can happen. So sometimes what happens, there are many companies, sometimes demand is more, companies are not available. So subject to an understanding that you shall be able to do it by whatever means, by employing more experienced people, you can handle this job. But because you are an organization, you have financial backing, you have financial track record, you have project track record, you can employ expertise of this level and can do that. That's possible. Because ultimately it is human resources that has to handle everything. It's not money. So contractor can be without any backing. A financial status is required, a track record is required, a group contents are required, who's professionals with him, who are professionals, what are their labels, and likewise you can say, we say credentials when we call it credentials of company are checked. So we have to use those credentials while we work on bids or while we work on projects. When we are awarded project, then of course we will be forced to do everything by engineer and employer. And I should not say force because but engineer always forces, that is true. Employer always forces because employer wants success of that scheme, that project, because that is to be brought to operational standards, operational status. One day project must be completed, that is basic requirement, and that's why contract data is included. This is duration of this project, this is date of start, this is date of completion, and project must be completed before or on that date. Otherwise it shall cause harm, it shall cause financial harm to that owner, employer, and that is not considered good. If you hand over project before time, it's always value added, and if you complete in time, that's also considered good because you are a professional. And if there is some delay, there should be some reason for that, reason beyond your control, beyond contractor's control. We say this is beyond our control, so because we could not get this, we require to extend this date of completion because we did not do any fault here, we did not make mistake, there were some other reasons. So that's called extension of time application, which we consider later on. Now what is this? Then everything is considered ideally, everything is normal, everything is ideal, and we have to consider this way. So what I'm saying, when we work on bids, we have to take these points into our consideration. A person who is a coordinator, is appointed coordinator, should go through all bids after clearance of charter that we have to go for this project. Then charter should be written every day, added every day, what we did, why we did. It's a kind of history. We raise this question, we got this answer, so that future organization, if you are not there, everything should speak on papers. Yes, this was reason, this was that reason, this happened because of this problem, this happened because of that problem. And we can say working of bid continues. There are certain processes, I just briefly explained that. Suppose I am a coordinator or I am a project manager, forget coordinator, I am dealing with that project. It's my duty to compile everything. Compile not in a sense of signing and submitting, but presentation to our management organization, presentation of those who are going to finally decide that price, because it is lump sum price, fixed lump sum price bid, and this means price, once you agree on that bid, that can be negotiated, that's different, but from your viewpoint at that time, that price cannot be changed, provided there is no change in contract, no change in conditions, no change in designs. This price is firm, final, and binding on you, not on the employer yet, because it is still a bid, it is still a tender. But you have agreed that you will abide by all these requirements on tender documents. So you have given your hands to them. You cannot pull back. If you pull back, you have to lose your bid bond, which is also very good amount. And it's not question of amount itself. Question is of risk. Means you are not a decisive party. If you say, oh, by mistake I submitted that bid, it was not correct, please reject it. You cannot say that. This means you are not professional, you don't have decision. You can't understand work, you can't understand documents just somebody says and do it, can't do that. You can't do gambling on bid. People say it's a gambling. I don't consider it gambling because profession cannot be gambling. It's bid, it's commitment. But there can be different reasons for that, but at that time when you agree, once you submit a bid, you are finished. You are gone to hands of others. You can't change that. Bid or alternative bid you have submitted. In alternative bid you can do something else. But it depends on employer whether to accept it or not to accept it. Generally, it's difficult to that alternative bid may be accepted. There may be some changes, but it's question of budget. If employer doesn't have budget, yes. If employer thinks, yes, this alternative bid has better provisions, it can save time, it can save money. In that case, there can be some understanding. But everybody is there. You are not alone. My convention, my understanding is that I should do competent work. Every submission that I do, every inclusion of documents that I take care of should be clear, with clear statements. As I said, procedures. I go through all bids as a coordinator or manager organizer, and I send, you can say, papers, documents to known vendors on my list in company, organization, who are services vendors, who are suppliers, material suppliers I mean, and who are machine suppliers. Likewise, we have certain system in every companies, and we depend on them to an extent bid work is concerned. You can say it's a kind of package coordination, not simply coordination. As a contractor, we have to coordinate with everyone. Though work we shall do, but original arrangements of that work, which we call resources. Resources are markets. Your country's markets or overseas markets, because you have to procure material through them, from them. Without materials, you cannot do anything. Without workers, you cannot do anything. Without equipment, you cannot do anything. These are basic resources. And we should know what price shall it cost. What price one resource cost. We should know that point. We cannot blindly say anything. We should be clear about that. This costs this much and that costs this much. And for that, we provide details to many vendors, and they give us quotations in demanded time that you quoted before this time is over. We provide them contract documents, related contract documents you can say, and we can say not, maybe some documents we don't want to provide them. We provide bill of quantities, we provide specifications, we provide timings of contract, and likewise we get some quotations from them. And this is priced quotation with conditions. They have their own conditions that can be handled. That's not difficult matter, because you may have hundreds of quotations for one project. For one material you may have many quotations. For one service you may have many quotations, and you may have to call them for negotiations if it's considerable one, if it amounts a lot, because sometimes they load prices. These quotation people, they undue load their prices, and we know that this is loaded price. Loaded means more than, or you can say redundancy of price. This price is X amount, this it's Y amount, X plus X, this is Y, you can say. So we know sometimes this person has done it. We can call telephonically, or we can call that person to discuss, to negotiate, and we reach to true figure, which sometimes they don't want to give in writing. So there are some people in civil constructions that they don't give correct figure, real figure in writing, but they just load it so that others know it. And when they meet you, they can say, okay, there can be 25% reduction in this, or 15% reduction, or we can give this discount, so that we can understand that our price should go this, or we write same price without any profit, so that profit is included there. Because when we win this contract, win this bid, we also call them that you do your part. And that's where at that time means there are two kind of quotations. One is before bid is submitted, and one is when work is won, when contract is won. Both are bids, but both are different. Both are quotations, both are different. One is like a game, okay, I send this. The other one is seriously you have to do, because you have to start that job, you have to get that job. But in our case, when you do offer, when you do calculation of bid, for that vendor it's okay, that vendor can take risk. because that vendor also knows there are so many parties submitting their bid, and this is one of those parties. Maybe there are 10 parties or 5 parties involved on this bid, and all those may reach that vendor again and again. So that person fixes a price. Okay, this I do, but that price is floated price, overloaded price, not real price. We know it, but that person sends same price to everyone. But when you get this job by whatever way, you have to call again those persons. Job is there. Now it is different because it's going to be agreed. Your material is going to be approved by contractor and by engineer, both. But if contractor accepts, if the contractor says no, this is not correct, you bring another one. You have to bring another one. But once it's agreed, then both contractor as well as vendor have to think for their interest, and owner has to think for best interest. I should get best material out of what I said. I want best material in same price. If there is no list of materials included, if there is list of material included, that's fine. I have seen documents where every material is entered into documents and says this manufacturer, this manufacturer, or this manufacturer. 3 or 4 manufacturers parties are given, or you can say specific material is written, and that you can bring material, you can opt by one party of this, we can accept that, because on our list we have kept these approvals. This is general trend. So 3 or 4 parties are given there, and you can use them, you can go for them. Otherwise, if nothing is mentioned, then specifications are given. In both cases, specifications are available. It's maybe material is listed, vendor is listed or not listed, but specifications are listed. Then in that case, when nothing is available, no option is given, it means you're free. You're free to source material from whosoever, provided that complies to specification requirement, and that you can submit that one. So in fact, both are different ways, but there is no binding in that case. And in some cases, what happens? You have 3 or 4 options. You select best one, and that manufacturer also knows that mine is best in that. It's lowest price and best quality. Others cannot go. So people generally say, okay, this bid is directing that you should go to this vendor. Example is, let's say, typhoid units, sanitary units, typhoid, collar, likewise many others are there. If collar is given there and typhoid is given, it is, oh, why you are fool, you are going for collar? It's clearly directed typhoid is there. So you say, it is indirectly, people understand where this go to, where shall this go to, and typhoid also knows that. It's all big game. I will like that, means I specify and leave it. That's it. That's one way. Or if you say no, I want set designs, in that case you can say, okay, fine, we list it out. So what I say, when I as contractor, coordinator or manager, I have to arrange for materials, I have to arrange for machines, I have to also procure machines for that contract, and also workers and all resources. You have to do it, and that is a very voluminous exercise. Before bid, it's very risky because time is limited, but we have to keep whole scope of work. And I would add, I don't believe in quantities provided by employer or engineer, because engineer has one set of mind. Engineer cannot go thoroughly into all details, because design itself cannot be done in one day. It keeps on changing and changing and changing, and how many meetings are conducted with employer, so many changes erupt, and then how many meetings are conducted with others, then so many more changes come. So it's not practically possible for an engineer to give you pinpointed quantities. It is not practically possible. And even at time of bid, it is time limited bid, so we also cannot chart out all quantities. It shall be professional way if we chart out quantities by engaging dedicated quantity surveyor on that. But if we cannot find all quantities, at least major important quantities should be there. But I would prefer if you work out every quantity, because it's your cost. If you miss something, you will lose. Nobody will help you. If you add every item to your cost, maybe your bid price goes up, but you can't. You can adjust, you can stand if you are given contract, if you are awarded contract. You can come out of that difficult situation safely. That is also a point. You can come out safely. That is most important point. And that person who without any backing just submitted bid without understanding thoroughly shall be trapped, shall not be able to deliver that job without losses. I still remember one case, maybe just as reference. I was in Abu Dhabi. I was a chief engineer here in one organization, private organization, contracting organization. I was in charge for all works and also for bids. We have buildings, they are commercial buildings, many buildings. This company was interested in buildings. We have many buildings in hand, and we had prices, contract prices of those buildings. So we used to refer to those prices for our new bids. We submitted one bid, which was not very big building, but it has some, I think, good building. The price was not very high. When this bid was opened, we for one job, one party got that lowest price, and it was announced that this price is lowest, and that party was very happy because we also participated. Our price was little higher. We talk to that party, okay, congratulations that you are going to be lowest in this. That person was happy. But when you asked means, did you take all? We just tried to know how he could reach that price. He told me this is same building as other one there, existing there, or other project. And we were little shocked, means what this person is talking. We raised some question. Did you go through drawings? Did you go through scope of work? That person asked, why are you asking this question? No, we just said that you are referring to that building which is already under construction, and it is same. And we said, no, there is a difference. He said, what difference you are talking of? I've gone through the same building as this is. I said, no, there is additional work in that. Of course, it is same building, but there is a basement included in this building, and in that building basement doesn't exist. He was just listening to what I was saying. He said, yes, there's a basement in this, see drawings. Oh my God, he was shocked. What do you say? Yes. Then he was, as if ground has moved below his legs. What are you saying? Yes. Oh, I see. My God, he was like a mad person there. He could not do anything because he has already submitted bid. So I'm just giving this example because some people in vibratory mode do mistakes. Oh, this building is there, I do this, without knowing. This happens, and this leads them to troubles in future. I always stress on quantities. Reason being, when you work out quantities, you shall read, you shall scrutiny whole project details. You will go through all details and get to know what to be done. And certainly when you see all drawings, you will see every proposed requirement. And if you just copy from one project to other project, you may get help from other projects, help on many items. You will have sources defined, you will have vendors defined, you have which drawings were required as working and shop drawings, what are materials, from where we got them, And maybe there is a difference on soil which you have to keep in mind. Soil, even though designs are same for 2 or 3 buildings, but foundations may not be same. That point also we have to keep in mind. A building stands on rock, and a building stands on sand, a building stands on some bad, very bad clay. So foundations for every would be different. We cannot blindly, you can say, use a formula for every building to be same. That is very important point we have to keep in mind while you can say understanding, while trying to understand that. So that's to say what I said about this management or coordination. It is very important before bid is submitted. Is AnnexSL requires that, this is our understanding. We have to do accordingly. Whole exercise, whole activity must be done adequately with full strength, and quantity working out is such an element, such an exercise. It costs a lot, but it saves a lot. It costs in a sense that first of all you worked out quantities is a record. Of course you spend time on that. Some quantity engineer remains there for many days, maybe 2 or 3 there, electrical, mechanical or HVAC or other subdisciplines. We work out that in every respect because it is lump sum fixed price. Once we know, at least we can answer if somebody asks during the scrutiny, did you make sure about quantities? We can say we have record of that. And some smart engineers also require show me records. I want to see, did you lose something? I don't want to take risk because you made a mistake. Engineer thinks so. I don't want to risk recommending your case if you have missed something considerably, because you will cause problem in future. If that happens, if that smart engineer exists, that smart engineer wants to know that you included every requirement, not because of price impact but because of time impact. Price, it will be same. If you miss something, we will not change it because this is lump sum bid. It's you also know if you miss something that you have to be careful, or you want to continue with this project or you don't want to continue with this project. That is also a benefit to you. And there have been cases that people miss items. There have been cases because sometimes this is lower class contractors. They don't have enough people, and they go on taking risks to rise in life, to enter more and more categories of or high profile of contracting, and they make mistakes. And the reason being that some companies are closed due to that, due to loss, or they run away. And running away is not our objective in contracting. If you have to run away, then why to start contracting? Contracting is a service to society. It's a service that only you can give or some other contractor can give, because public cannot serve itself, engineers cannot serve themselves. It happens. You need contracting companies or organizations to do some important jobs. Even if you make your house, a small house, you can't do anything. You say, okay, I'll provide material, let me find some contractor who can supply workers. But even then, you can't do yourself. So best way is that if you can't do yourself, you can give documents, best way, well designed to that contractor, based on which that contractor gives you either price. It may be work element price, or it may be workforce element price. Both means one is item price or is a package price. Generally they say, okay, each item is this price, or per square feet or per square meter is this price. Or you can say item wise is this price, you measure whatever I do, or total price is this. It actually happens. If it happens for your small house, it can happen for major projects. It should happen. There are hundreds of items that you have to deal with, volumes of items. You have to deal all stages. So it's not a simple job. It's a package of responsibilities. And there are variations everywhere, changes everywhere. It's not like industry, machine is designed well, its important parts are designed well, and we have arranged for manufacturing of this point on how many locations, and these parts will be delivered from those locations, and this will reach a place where assembly is conducted, assembly is done, and once assembly is done, it shall be tested properly and then self-certified or self-claimed to be certified. It will reach people. That is different. There can be no impact on designs, but here in construction, in development, impact is very important, because first of all, it's complicated job, it's long duration job. It's not necessary that all employees work there during that job. Some come, some go, and records only speak, not people. People go from projects, because once project is declared complete, there is no meaning all people to stay there, and during its duration itself, after mobilization is completed, a time comes to start when demobilization also starts, and that demobilization goes on for long duration, and also you can say new people also brought in to meeting new requirements, and that continues. So bid is related to all these. Bid cannot be taken in isolation. Bid means all that's going to happen in that coming time of couple of years. We have to foresee what may happen, what may not happen. And if we can see that, we can view that. Viewing is one part, and only that person can view who has experience and knowledge. Contractors who have done many jobs, they have some knowledge, of course. They have some experience. They understand how they can be impacted upon by contract conditions, and they are smart enough practically to understand something. They may be educated in engineering, that may be good, and if not educated, then they have to employ trustworthy people who can advise them, who can work for them. So bidding is a stage where we have to cut our controls. Once you go for a bid, you submit a bid, in that case, from that time onwards, you have no say except what engineer says or what employer says, that you are given this job or you are not given this job, after going through all negotiations and post bid submission meetings. You have to convince them in meetings, if meetings are convened, if meetings are conducted between prospective contractors and employer. There can be hundreds of questions. There can be questions about how you shall do this job. So we can say, okay, you can refer to our execution statement, you can refer to our details, you can refer to our specifications, and we have described that we can do this job, or we have done these jobs in past also. You can refer to our list of projects we delivered. This means it's a long vision to make sure that no scope or no part of scope has been left from including in consideration. That point is hard and fast but very important, which generally is missed, and every coordinator should be smart enough. It's not simply coordination, it's real requirement to understand project, and mostly it is based on technical involvement. Once technical involvement is clearly understood, then we can go for bid scope, bid calculation, bid cost. So it's very voluminous size in its buildings, or Sundarajam you can see. Many BOQs are prepared for some project, and also those designers include BOQs in some cases and they don't in some cases. It depends, but it's for your own reference, for your own direction. As an engineer, you know how much work you have to do, and work itself announces what time this project will take. and you can say whatever employer has given this time duration, this is justified or not justified. It's a lot difference. Then you can also raise a question, please clarify what time duration for this contract other than what's available information in contract. Even if they say no, we are having same, we are not going to change something, that is different. So when I say this coordination work is very different, it is up to time when your bid goes to be submitted. There can be many changes, frequent changes on your bid final stage. Your estimator may demand many questions answered. There can be many things. There can be negotiation held with suppliers, or you can say we can understand it's not easy to finally answer. It's very difficult, in fact. It's a risk matter. Every work we have to know what we have to do, and every picture should be clear in mind that we have to do this only, then we can get compensation. We can get, if you do all these items, we leave nothing, the real price can come out, and that price is more important than something else, and that depends on what we have: civil element, structural element, electrical element, mechanical element, IT element, likewise all polluting elements. All these can change our path, change our route. It's not simply bidding, but there is a question on leadership as well. Leadership, actually, leadership, how to define that? Question comes, what do you mean by leader? Only that person is leader to whom you appoint leader? Or you are also leader, though you are not appointed? Very solid question, very reasonable question, very important question. Leader. Who is leader? Who is leader? I can say every responsible person is leader. Every responsible person, every person who is ready for account, who is ready to answer, who is ready to take responsibility, who is ready to move forward, that one is leader. One can be ready not just because one has to be ready, but one has to understand that. Still, I remember I asked one person, I asked many, I want a coordinator. There are many engineers. Can you tell me who is best coordinator, who can do best? One person, one engineer came out and said, I will coordinate. Said, no problem. Well, I thought that this person was, I think, mechanical engineer probably. He's so confident and he is volunteering himself for this. This means this person should be competent. He should have done this before. That's why he said, I will do it. But I thought that way. I did not ask any question because we were already our staff on our roll. So I say, okay, you take responsibility of electromechanical coordination, and we will see. Because there were so many problems there on that site in electromechanical disciplines, and I thought that that person would do it. But I did not find any change on problems. Then in every meeting I ask him, you are a coordinator, why is this problem is still there? This problem is existing. Well, he said, I could not go through this. or nobody told me this. So it happened many times that this person, though he claimed that he could coordinate, but he didn't even understand what is coordination. I was very upset, but it was my mistake. I kept nothing. I still said nothing, because without, just on trust basis, just on claim of that person, I can do coordination. I made a mistake. So I continued myself to solve problems during meetings when such issues of electromechanical and civil arrived. Because civil details have to deal with these details. We cannot blindly say, as a machine, we provide this plinth and that's it. On what basis shall we provide that plinth? That question comes to mind. That question is very, very significant because it is to be answered. If this question is not answered, this is a problematic way. We have to answer every question. Meanwhile, I'll be back in 5 minutes and I will say that if I leave this to you, you can read this, enjoy this for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back. Just 5 minutes, please. I'll be back. Every day I say this because of some problems. If by chance this video is over, leave it. What to do? I have no way out. I'll be back. So I am back here. Alright. We are here back and we are working on this. I explained to you about that one. That's the important part of this. We explained to each other what was to be done, and I was talking about leadership, which is very important matter. Leadership means to lead first oneself and to lead others. But first to lead oneself, once lead self. What actually we want to say here? I have to lead myself. What actually this means is, it says that leadership and commitment are important. Commitment means everything. If I am a leader and I have some promises, I have some assurances, it is my duty to deliver that, to fulfill that. And if I cannot do that, how can I say I am leader? I can lead myself first. That is basic policy. Here I said includes in this are leadership and commitment, then policy, and then organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities. What does it mean? I say leadership and commitment. Engineering and profession as well as business of engineering depends on real world. We cannot simply say it's a poem. It's just a text you read and understand and you'll qualify after examinations are over and you pass. No. Leadership in construction, on projects, in engineering means delivery of requirements. If we cannot deliver, we fail. That is first requirement. This is not political leadership where we can make promises and later on give reasons why we failed to achieve that or we achieved something else. That befooling ideas cannot be called leadership. That is, just to run your show. But here we have to run shows of others. Engineers never run their show. Engineers run shows by others. I am a supporter as an engineer, but that support is solid. That support is destined. It's not simply support that I am just supporting you, you be responsible. No, I am responsible. I cannot advise falsely. I cannot do something which is not practical to be done. So here first as an engineer, because engineer itself is a leader on works, leader of society, leader of change, leader of design, leader of working, leader of producing, leader of manufacturing, leader of construction, leader of development. In fact, it is real leader. It is not political leadership. It is development leadership. It is change leadership. Our policies should be oriented to production, to development. Our you can say organization should be responsible, should be authentic, should be efficient, and you can say there is no other way we can define. We should be, define our roles. We should define our roles. But leadership is really engineering, and engineering is leadership, because one man cannot do everything. So many people are required, so many persons are required to do one thing. One project is handled by thousands hands, hundreds machines, and so many other people. And public ultimately uses them and appreciates or criticizes both. I least bother about appreciation, but criticism is very important. Somebody who criticizes honestly, I respect that. It is for purpose of improvement. My work can be defective, contractor's work can be defective, We have to make sure why it is defective. We have to investigate. But it should be there first. There can be misunderstandings, there can be miscommunications, and there can be various aspects that we can say, this we could not do rightly. We have to understand that fact as well. Where did we miss? You can say a kind of scrutiny of our work. In engineering, very important point is post-work survey. Do you know that? Real survey is done for work, but there is also one survey which is done on work done. Like example, labels we take, dimensions we take, of structures, columns, beams, and I am just giving an example. We can do so much else also. What we do this in first task for construction that is done. And our profession requires, once construction is done, we have to review our work ourselves. Like designs are done, these are reviewed by someone. Likewise, when construction is done, this is also reviewed by someone. That is, you can say, work revision. We have to make sure whatever we done is according to what was expected or what was designed for, and if there is some variation, what level of variation exists. Shall it work or shall it not work? It is within tolerance limits or not. That is done. Example, let us say we started some work. There is some label issue. There has been some settlement of building, say by 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter. We should know that. If in 1 year this is settlement, or since we did this is settlement, how much it shall take in coming months, in coming years, so that we know shall it remain within tolerance or not, or we have to do something else on this. That is one consideration. Likewise, we see how much, maybe some work is not in correct position. If it is not correct position, can this still survive, or we have to change it? Likewise, we call as post-work investigation, post-work surveys, and that is very part of engineering. That it's born baby, we did it, but baby is fine, no problem. So leadership is nothing but responsibility of baby. You can say you are going to take responsibility of your imaginary baby as well as baby which is born. Both are your responsibilities, and that is why engineering is different. Engineering means imagination, production of drawings, specifications production, working on those in field, and then making sure that these have been done according to requirement. That is main policy. And also policy is that how we can improve it, how we can economize it, how we can lead on this further, how can we go on higher levels, how can we make ourselves more responsible, more authoritative, more commanding, so that we are called on major projects. We are upgraded, how to upgrade ourselves, how to make improvements in our working. And that is what quality system requires. Improve yourself wherever you are wrong. Even if you have done right, you do it better, you do it more right, more functionable, so that, or you can say, you can add value to that. Even if value is not specified, you add more value to that. That is what I can say is real world in engineering. Same thing is done by designers, structural designers, architectural designers, and others, working designers. There are so many levels of design, specification designers, or you can say engineering designers who design on sites, practical works, working drawings, how to detail out and how to implement details, how to write method statements. It's all kind of designs that we think before you do. We think before you do something and devise that. So design is not one level, it has got many levels, and we have to do accordingly. So leadership is not simply a term, it's a mass work. You have to lead yourself first. When I lead myself based on my knowledge, based on my experience, based on my collection, based on my analysis, based on my thinking, I can move forward and lead others and tell them what should be done in writing or in instructions or sharing with them information or moving with them for a certain while, to start with everybody personally and then move out from person and become, it happens. What one Arabic told me, you are very close to site, fine, but gradually when you instruct people, gradually withdraw yourself from site, because what can you see from distance? You cannot see from just at site location. Well, that is just some advice. I realized that later on. Means sometimes when you are with people, you are at close-up job, your concentration is more on localization and not on broad aspect. When you are a leader, means you are a leader of a project, you have to take care of every activity. You have to go through contract, you have to go through specifications, you have to find problems, you have to understand how problems can occur upon site, you have to coordinate, you have to communicate, your responsibilities multiply. And those are more important factors than working just on site. If you are not clear of contract conditions, you may make mistakes. You may not answer questions when you ask in meeting. When you go to a meeting, you have many problems. Meeting means contract meeting, progress meeting, whatever meeting, coordination meeting. You have to meet with many authorities, many powers who are much more experienced than you, or maybe your experience. It doesn't matter, but you have to answer questions. Accountability of project work. And if you can't answer, this means you are not competent, or you may every time say, no, to give me 2 days, give me 3 days, I'll answer. That means you are not clear. If first duty is, as a contracting engineer, leader you can say, organizer you can say, you should be clear of what you have to do. What you have to do, you have to know, because project time shall not have enough section for you to invest time on that. Maybe you have to read at home, or you have to read at contract tender time. Whatever it is, you should know every provision of that contract documents, contract conditions, contract form, contract drawings, contract specifications, contract whatever else is there. You have to go through that, and you have to know what are your analytical responsibilities. You have to chat out particularly items that you have to attend, and particular items that your subordinates have to attend, and then remaining one shall be attended by site. So there are always leadership sections, top leader or site, middle leader, lower leader, and then public masses. Public masses means workers and others. You have to deal with everyone, and it starts from documentation. Because it is you who agreed these documents, you have to abide by these and you have to respond to them. You cannot say, oh, we signed by error. No, you can't say signed by mistakes, because every page you signed, contract you signed, and you are responsible for that. You are responsible for that. You can't run away from that responsibility. That is yours. You have to arrange, you have to resolve, you have to solve. That is a problem for you, but I don't consider it as a problem. It is task I have to do, means I have to do. What's wrong? What's wrong? That is what leadership is, means complete knowledge of documents. You can say something, oh no, this is not in my scope of work, and when it is shown to you that is in your scope of work, then you have to shy, oh, I did not read this, and that is bad leadership. Rather you should say, I will show you where it's not mentioned, I'll show you, see, read this clause, read this section, this clearly stated, but you are saying it doesn't apply. It doesn't mean you are a leader, you accept everything what's said to you, what's instructed to you. There may be some instruction which you think that's not correct. You can raise question on that. This is not in our scope. You can simply say that. It's contract, nobody can force onto you something that's not in your scope of work. That is where leadership works. That's how leadership works. On contracts, it is document that speaks. It's not you, not me, not someone else. Maybe engineer made a mistake. Maybe owner has misunderstanding that this is a coverage in scope, and in fact it's not a coverage in scope. So what? In that case, we have to be silent. We have to tell them, listen, gentlemen, you are mistaken. This is what doesn't apply. This is what doesn't apply in my contract. And here is this, you can say this is DOR, that is distribution of responsibilities. Generally, sometimes we make a matrix when there are so many contractors or something. This is our responsibility and this is your responsibility. This can be made, and you can do same for your subcontractors also. This is main contractor's responsibility and this is subcontractor responsibility, so that it is a graph, it is a texture like Excel sheet. This is yes, this is no. That makes life easy. But even then, contract is contract. There are many implications, and I am sure it is true that no one goes through each and every item because of volume of work to be done. We have to handle all those activities, as I said, all activities on such contracts. And at time comes when you risk away, you take, okay, I will read these specifications later on. Or what happens, sometimes you send your contract conditions to some lawyer in your company who may not know everything about contract, who may not know how works are done, but that would try to say something in legal way. Oh, this is stop, full stop not given, this comma not given, this mark of, means something that is not related to contract. Contract, see, there are some ways we understand meaning or interpretation of terms. It's not comma or full stop, it's not phrasing, but actual meaning. Because these are repetitive conditions and we know how these work. So we cannot exclusively depend on such advice from luminaries because they have different approach, while we have to work. See, there is a difference. Work and approach. Law is one point, but at time of work, law doesn't work. Work is done. We work. On site, law doesn't work. Contract works, items work, people work. You think you can do according to what lawyer says, that's not possible. Yes, implication is there. We have to understand what we have to do, and if you do that according to contract, then there is no problem. We can simply say work has been done according to requirements. It is complying to contract. That's simply say. There may be so many hidden aspects, so many open aspects. Those all tell work is to be done. And work is done correctly, there's no problem. If work is not done correctly, then you have to do it again. Simple. No law comes in between. Okay, we made a mistake. We did this work out of context or out of requirement. So you can either change yourself if you are a professional contractor, or you shall be instructed then by engineer that your work is not done according to contract requirement. Either you amend it or give a proposal how to amend it, or you remove this and do again. So this happens. If you make a mistake, you have to amend that mistake. What's wrong with that? And if you don't do that, you shall face problem. Your payment shall stop. You shall be given notice that you have done this against contract requirements, and you are liable for action. So best way is, because this happened really, means in maybe 1% cases, so nobody wants to waste time. Nobody wants to go to arbitration in that case, or nobody wants to refer it to final other authorities for decision. And best is that don't worry about anything. Consider value of time, value of cost, value of, you can say, requirement. You can say time, cost and quality. So that is your performance quality also under question. That you could not do it means you cannot perform truly. 99 items you did right and 1 item you did wrong. that one item shall impact you adversely. You better to avoid that, so that your reputation is maintained, and you, of course, some losses they are not. And better work you can do. Signals a problem here again. So we have to understand that point very well. How can we move further and further? How can we move further and further? And that is point where we have to respect others and ourselves. Signals are dropping, coming again. I don't know why. Well, what I have to say, I said. Leadership, I try to define. There can be more and more definitions on this. Leadership means you have to start from scratch or even minus, and you have to reach that destination. And you have to not only reach yourself, you have to take all others with you and touch that and stay there at that destination. That destination is completion milestone. You shall meet many milestones on way, and completion milestone means physical work is completed, commissioning is completed, and maintenance is ongoing or it's also completed. Sometimes we call mechanical milestone is complete, or mechanical completion, or practical completion, and then after maintenance etc. according to contract that are required are over. That's called final completion, when all your liabilities are over towards contract. Only those items which are having long-term warranty, like roofing, waterproofing, and many more items, structural warranties, or some other physically, you come out of that binding, and one time comes when you are given discharge from that responsibility, excluding warranties, and that's what happens. And leadership role continues until these are covered. Leadership is very difficult on such projects because it is not only technical, it also commercial, it is business, it is circle, it is your, you can say, dealing with everybody. Losses are very easy to make, but continuation of business and profit making, both are very important. It's not simply management organization requirement, it is technical skill, it is organizational skill, it is mind skill, and you can say common sense you have. You have to immerse in something every time while you are leader, or even if you are not leader, you have to immerse in that problem which you have to solve. And if you have already solved it, then you have to further solve it further, make it better. So you have to immerse in that. Hundreds of materials are included on projects. Those materials require thinking, ability to do more and more better, and that's where we can say something has to happen. And that something happens, rightly or wrongly we do it, and we cover ourselves. So leadership definition, we can talk a lot, but major points that I consider is that one should be, first of all, smart in a way, mentally and physically. One should be active, one should concentrate, one should sit and think, one should be capable to analyze, one should be capable to read again and again and again, because these are contract issues. We cannot simply say, I have read it and I have understood it, and if you are asked a question and you say, okay, I'll refer again, this means you did not analyze requirements. If you analyze requirements, then you understand that requirement. I'm not saying every time you have to raise questions. Generally, on contracts, rare questions are raised. What is raised is about specifications, about technical matters, about clashes within various disciplines, and if something is not clear. Technical questions are many times raised, while contextual questions are limitedly raised, maybe some error or something, or some not no definition is clear. Sometimes we can say that. Generally, but we have to understand implication of that. My target is not to challenge contract, but to understand how it shall impose on us itself. Means that contract itself shall attack us one time, and how to respond to that attack, how to come out of that attack. That is where it's important to understand, important to realize these facts. And this can be realized very easily. There should be no problem at all if you know what is contract, how to deal with that. It's really very clear to everyone. It should be clear to everyone how to handle that, how to deal with that. I think that we have to be very clear about this in every way. That's where importance lies in, and we have to do leadership not because of by face. We have to decide by mental capacity, and not only mental capacity, application of mind is very important. That we have to realize that fact. That is where leadership lies in. Leadership is not property of everybody. It's exclusively very few people can be called leaders. And leadership means responsibility. Leadership doesn't mean you can hold others' responsibilities, others responsible for your faults, for your mistakes. That is not permissible. We have to keep this factor in mind. And that's very important factor. Just hold on. I'll come back in 2 minutes. So we have to understand leadership very well. It's not just a degree that gives me leadership. It's my performance, it's my ability to work, it's my ability to concentrate, and it's my ability to analyze and think. Further analyze and think and think and think and find out some solutions, and my responsibilities are fixed and fix other responsibilities. Every project is different, therefore contents are different, drawings are different, procedures are different, and therefore thoughts are different. Building projects have certain type of leadership required, oil projects have another type of leadership required, infrastructure projects, design projects, consultancy projects. Everywhere different arrangements are done. But main important is production, that is manufacturing, that is construction, that is you have to deliver. There's end of leadership, you can say, where project definition is over. When you deliver constructed project, that cannot be called project because this enters into operation. Design is a project. You can say consultancy is also a project, whereas construction is a project. But once it goes off, then it's life of that project to work, means project definition is over, it comes into operational unit, a plant, a facility, or a building or a structure of flyover roads, whatsoever, where there is no end. There is no end except maintenance. And where is no end, then there is end of construction, end of only production, process, maintenance that goes on. Engineering stands actually in all fields, including maintenance and production, but civil engineering moves on to production before production starts. Our production is temporary because when we produce means we construct. Our production is limited to construction delivery, and that is our scope. Once we deliver completed constructed project, it's job of others. It's job of public to use it, it is job of manufacturer to use it. Then we have no say. Means after inauguration of that, even before inauguration, we are not required. You can say our work goes to time when fruits are to come and we have no right to share those fruits. That is one we can say approximately it is. We have to be smart enough to understand this point. Very important point. It's very important point we have to understand. And we should not mind it also. Yeah, there's nothing to mind in this. Why to mind? I shall not mind this. My profession is like that. Should I mind it? Really, it is surprising that we do a lot, but that lot is for others, not for ourselves. We are just instrumental in doing that lot, and that is life. That is life, and one cannot change that life because it is something like that. It has to be like that, and that is engineering principle. That is engineering principle. Just like I said in codes of ethics, you see, I explained these codes of ethics and which are instrumental enough. If we have to, means our codes of ethics are limited to that. And after that, other codes apply in manufacturing units. Everybody says you have to give quality, but do they? I raise this question now. That's why I say civil field engineering. Civil engineering means public engineering, not manufacturing unit, not industry. It's life engineering. Civil engineering gives life to people. Building gives life, facilities give life, roads give life. There is no place in life in modern world. It's not wood now, it's not jungle. It's not, ancient time when there was nothing to live. We live in cities, we live in towns, we live in villages. Villages are also organized now. We call them urbanized village, means they are also city units. We cannot confront it. Life is like vice, and we have to respect that life. And it is our good time, without consideration of money, that civil engineers are available in our country, in throughout world, who are devoted, who are dedicated to process of development, to process of sustainable development, to process of creation, to process buildings, of course with hard work, with hard structures, mechanism, designs, quality issues, working on site, working in occupation. One has to tolerate. If a blacksmith has to tolerate heat and hammer force, he has to tolerate, because its job is like that. One cannot deny that fact. One cannot deny that fact. How can you deny that fact? It's your job. So it's our fate. If one used to drive steam engine, locomotive in fast time, in railways, it was his job to put coal into that furnace and stay there with heat. It was job. Otherwise, you are trained for that. Same way as civil engineers, we are trained for that. We have to bear heat of job. We have to bear heat of sun. We have to work in cold and hot. We have to work in dirty clothes. Our workers are very dirty. We have dirty clothes to see. You see, even their faces are in dust. They are well made up naturally, not in beauty parlor. So they are also made up, over made up, you can say. Same way, engineers, we have to suffer. We cannot enjoy society. Sometimes we are in deserts. I have been for many years in desert. I know how I survived. Even if you want to keep your family there, that's not good, because your family cannot enjoy. It's difficult to send your kids to school. So it is different type of life. That's why I always say civil engineer is first one who come to handle difficulties, to handle no life, because you are going to work for others, not for yourself. Even if you are starting some toilet work in some village, it's very original requirement, basic requirements. But after finishing that, you have to move somewhere else. You cannot stay there. Building which you are constructing is not for you, it's for someone else. Your job is create something, do something, build something, and then move away. That's why they call builder. Engineer is a builder. Engineer is a creator. Engineer is a designer. Engineer is a provider, facilities for others. Engineer is a changer, social changer, development changer. We call engineer that. Engineers agent change of agent. We engineer who came from France to see our work, and I asked him, "Oh, what to do? Why should I waste? Why should I waste my time for this?" No, it's simple. I am checking it. What's wrong if I use only underwear to do that? Well, it taught me a lesson that work is more important than your wearings, right? What do I wear? It doesn't matter. If work is affected, it matters. If I wear very good clothes and I do not wear out something and work is affected, I cannot enter trench, or I cannot enter some waterlogged area or some slush logged area, and I claim that I'm doing a very good job. Oh my God, that's not correct. So you have to learn lessons from people. It's not simply what we think is right. It means life is different, culture is different everywhere. You will find somewhere very well organized workers in some country will having all tools, everything with them, and they understand and they don't waste time in single minutes, single second, and they work and come out. And there are people who talk a lot and do nothing. Both are there. You will find some people talking at length, explaining at length, but while time comes, they do nothing. And there are some people who are silent. It seems that this guy knows nothing, but when that guy starts working, I think nobody can compete with that. I have seen many people who don't answer when questions are raised, who understand everything, who listen to everyone, and their policy is to listen first. Means if you are not a listener of instructions or requirements, you can't understand anything. You question, always immediately question. I can question only when I understand something, right? If I don't understand or misunderstand, then I can question. To understand every aspect, or sometimes we have to, somebody tell me do this, but I don't understand what it says. Either given writing, and if it's in writing, I have to read that, I have to understand that. When I write method statement, you think it is easy one? I really experienced that. It's not easy. You cannot write method statements if you have not done it, or you have total capacity to view what you have to do. You have to do, or other one has to do. That is your skill. I have to contemplate what can be done if I am there. If I am engaged there, what I have to do, what is required to be done, what is best one, what is practice, what is non-practice, what is requirement. All these points we have to understand. Only then we can say, yes, I am doing this. Sometimes it looks so he has written 3 papers on method statement, he knows everything. No, it's not that. Writing 1 page is also important. What you are going to do? It's not only essay by write something by thinking only, You have to decide. Going to do, maybe they don't like it, or they have better arrangement because they work on sites, they work on fronts. Maybe they suggest much better than what or ease of working, you can say, ease of doing something. To an extent, we have to keep in mind that specifications must not be violated. Non-conformance should not come into view. Has taken our views into this consideration of method statements, and this is our method statement, then you can see If I include views and these views if workable and these views if I say okay these are acceptable views, and they know that our proposition is also with this, so they will accept that. Even you can discuss with your client also, means we are going to do this, it's good for you. Of course your client or your owner's representative or engineer has to accept, has to investigate or scrutinize or review your statement, and that statement if approved, or there may be comments on that statement which you have to reasonably check and scrutinize. That's the important point. Means my contemplation is a little different in this case, that we have to be with people. We cannot say we are not with people, we have to be with them. We have to be with people, we have to personal or individual viewpoint, and that viewpoint, if it is fine, they think so, they can accept this viewpoint, or they can say if you also consider this act or this information that you get from that person, and if you include that also, so you can say you can enrich your way. There's no harm in that, but you have to be intercoordinator. You have to listen to them. You have to, if you don't listen to them, you miss something. Listening and explaining are two ways. If somebody tells you something, you listen to that one. Maybe that person is not engineer, but that person is experienced on activities, can be foreman, and sometimes even you can say artisans like carpenters, like masons. They have some experience, specific experience on some sites, and they can tell you, there we did like that. Maybe you have to then thinking is yours, means what he says is right or not. He says something in this language in his own way, but you can convert it to professional language. Just like a lawyer does, what you tell him, he changes that your content. Involve them. You involve them. Because they are frontline workers. If they don't cooperate, there is no way something can be done. So my stress on quality system is that this is also a way. So you can say it is not just 2 plus 2 equal to 4. It can be different. It can be different in modalities. It can be different in something else. We have to realize this requirement. Explanations can be given for everything, but it should be realistic. It should be realistic. That's why we stress on quality system, means quality means you have to chart out some route. Quality means we have to chart out some route to do some job. And that route should be definite. There should be no ifs and buts. We cannot say if you do like this shall happen, or no. It should be clear cut, clear route. We shall do like this, and people have to accept that. In that way, we can say, yes, we have complied with this statement, and this statement was professional. And we can say that if same activity comes again, just changing title or changing reference, we can use that, or we can use that statement as general one